What's the reality, Mark?
The reality is Wigan hold on to top spot on points difference. They're joined on 10 points by Castleford. Both have played in all 7 rounds so far. Leeds are third on 8 points from 5 games. Warrington have 8 points from 7 games. Huddersfield in 5th also have 8 points from 5 games. St Helens have 6 from 6 with a 3-win, 3-loss record. Catalans have 6 points, but they've only played 4 games. So arguably, Leeds or Catalans are the best team so far. Whilst Hull FC have 6 points from 7 games, leading to Radford's second. Wakefield and Salford have 4 points from 5 and 7 games respectively, so Salford needed this one really, I would say. Hull KR stay 11th on 2 points from 6 games. Toronto have no wins from their 6 league games played. Stat line of the week, I'm going with Niall Evalds because there were some good performances numbers-wise in losing efforts. With some people doing the 40 tackle 100 metre double, some people going over 200 metres, that sort of thing. But Niall Evalds did it in a winning effort. 2 tries, 5 tackle balls, 190 metres and 3 clean breaks.
So you've stolen mine, so I'm going to have to choose somebody else now. Let's go for Daryl Alforts with his 2 tries and his unbelievable finish, and looking all the Super League winger that he is.
Well, my player of the week also comes from Salford side, but it's not Niall Evalds. It's Dan Sargentson. I just think, and my highlight of the week is his tackle as well. I mean, not on a personal level, I didn't enjoy it, but there was a part of me when I saw it back, or even at the time, when everyone around me was like kicking off because they thought it must have been high. It's like, no, it wasn't. It was absolutely perfect. And I've got to just give him credit. Well done, Dan Sargentson. Super performance against your former side, and that tackle.
Yeah,
shining moment of the weekend.
Can't disagree. However, I'm going to go for the best performance in the best team performance, which was Paul McShane for Cass.
Excellent stuff. In the predictions, boy, me and Sarah were bad last week. In a combination of the Super League games and the Challenge Cup games that involve Super League teams, we were 1 for 6, and I feel like we kind of got away with one that we got right as well, which was Wakefield. We'll get to that in the other results.
Yeah.
In the host Super Brew, I don't think any of us got anything right because I stayed top.
I went 0 from.
Yeah.
3.
So that's why I stay top, you stay second, Sarah stays third, and Tim stays last.
Yep.
In the main Super Brew, Steve Pye moves back to the top of the league, so his good season personally keeps going on as his whole side are now having a reset button. He definitely doesn't want to in his picking. In the Fantasy League, Alan Bagley, of course, stays top. Even in the strange end of days time, we at least get this one constant.
That and a cup game played.
That and a cup game being moved to Post Office Road. Cass fan Jordan Lodge had the best weekly score, an impressive 556 from just 3 games. I'm guessing he's got Alforts and McShane in his team, but well done to those guys. Thanks for everyone getting your fan reviews in. We don't know when the next time you'll need to get your fan reviews in on match action, but we'll take news views anyway, so we'll start sharing that Google form a bit more widely. But for now, that is Super League done until at least not the 3rd of April, because Super League won't be back until the week after that at least. So that is Super League done for 2 to 3 weeks, and we will now move on to other results from around the world of Rugby League.
So we move on to other results, and we start with the Challenge Cup, including a catch-up from round 4, which finished Whitehaven 16, Dewsbury 22. And moving into Challenge Cup round 5 on Wednesday night, it was Huddersfield with the big fat duck egg, Toronto 18 with their first win of the year.
Loads of people got in touch. We start with Carsten. He said, not sure what was worse today, the Huddersfield performance, the weather, or the R-League app. Toronto with a really good performance in shitty conditions.
Malcolm Matios says, closed doors karma. Will this be the lowest gate between Super League clubs this weekend? Aye, aye, aye.
So, the crowd figure has been reported on variously, but in the League Express it's reported as 1,488. I've seen it reported elsewhere as less than 1,000, so I'm not really sure on that. It looked like there was at least 1,000 there.
Well, I tell you, but I couldn't get our league to work, which was pissing me off. So yes, I was stuck with the highlights, I'm afraid.
Well, Genghis Campbell saw the game. He said, Brian McDermott, a retraction. I may have given the impression in the past few weeks that Mr. McDermott was a scary individual who put the cones out for the golden generation at Leeds and made silly comments in post-match interviews to annoy Neil Hudgell. I now realise this was incorrect, and Mr. McDermott is actually a strategic league genius and visionary unparalleled in the modern game. Also, Giants were shit.
Paul O'Brien says Toronto deserved the win in awful conditions against a lacklustre Huddersfield side.
Cav said, WTF! Exclamation mark. That means what the actual fuck. How can this Toronto team beat a Huddersfield team who looked so good so far this season? What a bonkers world. Toronto was so beat up they only used one of their 4 subs. Yeah, they named Darcy Lussick on the bench, even though he wasn't fit to play. That's the situation that the Wolfpack are in. Anyway, Cav went on to say, the result is testament to the spirit they have. They are sticking together through a tough time.
Arminius says, I like to confuse people by calling Huddersfield the 4th Rome after the Eternal City, Constantinople and Moscow, because the Giants play in the Imperial colours. Caesar's legions didn't turn up today.
That's wonderful. Don't know who that is, but
it's Arminius.
Dr. Hideous said, Toronto aren't as bad a side as people say. Their first 3 games were close. Saints can nil anyone, and even the kicking they got from Leeds was a better performance than the scoreline suggests. I'm not sure about that last one. You're reaching there, Dave. He said, this match demonstrated their quality. Yes, Huddersfield made it too easy for them, but Toronto still had to take the opportunities given to them, and take them they did. Only Michael Lawrence impressed for the Giants.
As he always seems to. And finally, Fatboy Rob says, the R-League app worked perfectly for me. Well, lucky you, Rob. And Toronto looked a different side without SBW dropping the ball and Wilkin missing tackles and giving away penalties. Mellor played very well in the first half, but Huddersfield was shite, as were their piss-poor support. The sooner they're replaced by the Tokyo Turtles, the better.
Yeah. I didn't see it all, and I did have some R-League issues as well as some other conflicting scheduling, but what I did see from the Wolfpack was impressive. O'Brien, Mellor and McCrone worked better as a sort of spine with Ackers, who's been consistently decent, but let's face it, to expect much more from him in his first year at this level with no other hooker to interchange with him would be a bit unrealistic. So he's been as good as he can be, I think, Ackers. The other 3, I think, worked really well together in this game. I think it was good for them to have some players back who know what they're doing with each other. I think it could spell the end of Tony Gigo's experiment at the Wolfpack, unless they can offload Gareth O'Brien and really release some salary cap space. I think that, that worked well for them, that creative axis. Having Chase Stanley back meant they had a much more formidable look to that back 5, but Ricky Latelli was the star of the show again for them. 2 tries, the only 2 tries scored. O'Brien obviously kicking a lot of goals after that, but Latelli kind of popped up all over the show in the first 20 minutes and made it hard for Huddersfield to know where he was going to attack from, because that was going to be the player they were going to focus on, I think, to try and defend him. He has been their outstanding player, I think, so far this season, especially with ball in hand. And the way Toronto set up, especially in that first 20 minutes, like I say, the only time during the game where you probably had good ball handling conditions, I think that really made Huddersfield struggle because they hadn't planned for that. And I think that was a very clever move by the Wolfpack's coaching side and whoever came up with that plan. Because Latelli was a real thorn in the side in that spell. And I just don't think the Giants ever recovered from an unexpected start to the game where they went behind.
Yeah, they got behind, a lot early, didn't they? And and then conditions turned against them, and penalty goals were enough to kind of keep the scoreboard ticking over, and it did enough for them in the end.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, the Wolfpack would have given up this win for winning the Super League game, but
I'm sure they would.
It's the one that fell their way.
Yeah, you take them where you can get them. So it was Featherstone 46, Hunslet 6. An absolute choker for me. It was Wakefield 17, Bradford 14.
Yes, Wakey White got in touch. He said, "Old Johnny Two Skulls came with a game plan and a team clearly playing under no pressure, which almost paid off for them. Wakefield were quite ordinary and struggled to break down the excellent and disciplined Bulls' defence, but came up with a couple of classy tries in the second half to nick it. All in all, a banana skin avoided and Trim move on to the next round. Never mind coronavirus. I've got a Ronavirus." Oh, he's gunning for an episode title there. I don't know if he'll get it, but wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff, the Wakey White. Love it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna concentrate on the league, as they say.
But it was only 7-6 in favour of Trin at half time, and that was for a field goal on half time. Definitely, the Bulls showed some real strong points in this game. They were ahead in the game twice, and it took a late-ish try to win it for Trin, didn't it? So
yeah, it was last 10, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, it was more than I could have ever hoped for. We're so far this year we've beaten teams below us in the league and lost to teams above us. So we are where we are, and we're a mid-table championship team this year. But yeah, you can always rely on Uncle Two Skulls to come up with a game plan, and nearly. Maybe the 1895 Cup might be our thing.
Maybe that'll be pulled from the schedule.
Probably.
Sheffield 34, Workington 18.
Yeah. Hull KR 22, Lee 19 in one of those games you thought last week would be close, and so it proved.
I picked Lee and it nearly came off last minute. Always in our shadow said, "Scrawny bastard."
Tom Andrews says, "In typical Hull KR fashion, we go from making a game look easy to really difficult and then scrape it in the end. At time the rugby was free-flowing and fun to watch. Then Lee took the lead with us passing 2 opportunities to take the 2. Entertaining game all round, and if that's the last rugby I watch for 7 weeks, I'm not complaining. Plus we'll get some bodies back. Well, in theory anyway."
Paige said, "Wow, they actually won. Shame it wasn't 2 league points though. Didn't sound convincing considering Lee spent 20 minutes of the match with only 12 players on the pitch, and it took an ex-FC player to save the day right at the end. 2 championship teams at best today." Yeah, actually, if we're being accurate about it, they spent 17 minutes with only 12 players on the pitch, but 7 of those were the last 7 minutes, and that seems like it was crucial. Because they were obviously not going to be able to get the field position or anything to kind of control that last 10 minutes after Josh Woods had kicked the field goal that they would hope would have seen things through. It sounds like Mikey Lewis. Who'd have thought actually playing a proper number 7 as your number 7 would work so well? But it sounds like Mikey Lewis had a decent game for Rovers, and obviously Rawsthorne on his Rovers debut scored the winning try right at the last.
Yeah, as close as we always thought it would be. And another slobber knocker, this one. It was Newcastle 38, Dewsbury 30. Bit of an upset, maybe?
Was fantastic. Carsten got in touch and said, "Strong start by the Thunder, but Rams worked their way back. The same in the second half, with Thunder scoring the deciding try 5 minutes before the end. A stupid penalty from Dewsbury finished the game off." I didn't catch this whole game, but the second half I watched most of, and I kept looking at it even away from the Cass Saints game that was entertaining on the main sort of TV, and it just felt like which side were going to win this game. It was so back and forth for the entire 80 minutes. The only time there was really clear distance put between the sides was when like the normal scoring sequence, as it were, of you score, we score was broken in the 75th minute by Alex Clegg on the wing getting his try. So up until that point, this game was in the balance and it was really exciting. The Lawton try as well helped push the score out a bit, but it was good, really good game. Some good tries as well. Young Kieran Gill in the centres looks good, and actually Lewis Young, at fullback impresses me every time I see him play for Gateshead. And I wouldn't be surprised if he'll go on to a higher level if the Thunder don't